frontline APC presidential aspirant Bola Ahmed Tinubu says he led the political struggle that produced President Buhari in 2015, despite all odds against the newly found APC at the time. Tinubu also says he nominated Professor Yemi Osinbajo as Buhari's running mate to prevent a political stalemate within the APC, which could have cost it the presidency then. He spoke at the presidential lodge in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital in southwest Nigeria, while addressing APC delegates in the state ahead of the party's primaries on Monday in the Nigerian capital, Abuja. He says Buhari had offered him the APC vice presidential ticket then, but that some power blocks within the party, led by Bukola Saraki, rose against him, fanning the embers of the Muslim ticket. He adds that he later settled for Osinbajo as a running mate to Buhari so as not to jeopardize the party's chances in 2015, while noting that Saraki fought him just because he wanted the Senate presidency as a fellow Muslim too. And in a recent development where we're just having this breaking news, the All Progressives Congress has disqualified 10 presidential aspirants out of 23 ahead of the party's presidential primary election scheduled to hold between June 6th and 8th, which is next week. Now, the chairman of the Presidential Screening Committee and the former national chairman of APC, John Oyegun, disclosed this on Friday here in Abuja earlier today when it submitted its report to the party. The aspirants that have been disqualified are yet to be known, but Arise News can report that the report actually has been made available to the National Working Committee, which will then contact the disqualified aspirants and write to them formally on why they were disqualified before eventually the names are released to the public. But let's listen to what Tinubu said while speaking with delegates in Ogun State.
Tí ó bá sí àwa èmi tí ń dúró wájú yìí tí ń lérí ogun tí ní òkè Buhari nìṣó ká máa bá lọ. Kò lè di president. Ó ṣe kìíní olùlẹ̀, ó ṣe kejì olùlẹ̀, ó ṣe kẹta olùlẹ̀. Ó tiẹ̀ sọ̀kan lórí tẹlifíṣàn pé láyé òun ò tún rán mọ́. Mo dẹ̀ lọ bá ń Kaduna wá rán ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀kún kọ́ lélẹ̀ àdúró tiẹ̀ wà á dẹ̀ wọlé. Nǹkan kan ní pé o ò ní fọ̀rọ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá ṣeré. Ó dẹ̀ gbà. Àtijọ́ tó yẹ ti débẹ̀ mi ò gba mínísítà, mi ò gba contract, mi ì tọrọ ọbẹ̀, mi ì tọrọ gàrí, mi ì tọrọ fúra lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀, mi ì dẹ̀ ìyàwó ń bẹ̀. Ó wá ní lọ́tẹ̀ yìí o, Yorùbá ló kàn. Tá a bá dẹ̀ sa Yorùbá náà, èmi ló kàn. Eléyìí tí mo protect àwọn ọmọ tí mo gbé dání tó èmi náà fẹ́ ṣe present. Mi ò fẹ́ kán pa mí mọ́tàn.
Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, presidential aspirant of the All Progressives Congress, there speaking in the Yoruba language that's popular in the southwestern part of Nigeria to delegates. Well, for more on this, I'm being joined by Aliyu Audu, who is the convener of the APC Rebirth group, and also I will be joined by Arinze Igboeli, who is the spokesman of the APC in the southeast of the country. Welcome to the show, Aliyu.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we have seen the APC in the last 24 hours facing some huge challenges when it has to do with the issues of screening, and then Tinubu's comments just adding up to the tension in the party ahead of Monday. What do you make of Tinubu's comments?
Absolutely nothing. I mean, I don't think anybody should find anything difficult or problematic with the truth being said. You know, I mean, my concern about this is because I've watched that video back again and again, and I'm wondering what's the noise about. It's the absolute truth. Every single member of the APC is aware of what he has just said. in January 2015 at a fundraising dinner at Oriental Hotel organized by All Progressive Youth Forum and Act Now, you know, Mr. President at the time, who was our presidential candidate, you know, he was standing a few meters from where I was sitting, and he said everything Bola Ahmed Tinubu has just said. I mean, I remember vividly that Mr. President at the time said that after God, and he pointed at Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu where he was seated and said he made this merger possible and he made his candidacy possible. And he said, I didn't watch over the TV, I was in the same hall with him, and he said he had told Bola Ahmed Tinubu that the vice presidential slot was all his to do whatever he pleases with.
Irrespective of the cries of Muslim ticket then. He
was aware of that, but he said it was all his. It was entirely his decision. That was what Mr. President said. So, I mean, are we uncomfortable with the fact that, you know, the man himself is saying this? We should have a problem when people say things that are untrue. We should appreciate when people say the truth.
And the question is, why is Tinubu choosing now to say this? Is it a pointer that he has received information that Buhari is not backing him one, or there's an arrangement for a consensus candidate that may be from the north? And then why did he choose Ogun State to actually say that, knowing that Ogun State is the home state of Yemi Osinbajo, the vice president, who's also a frontline presidential aspirant of the APC?
You cannot really ask a man when to say his truth or the truth in this case. Even if we're to play it that way, we must agree that the fact that the number of people are in the race, you know, especially from the southwest against Asiwaju, means that people are too quick to forget, one, or people are, I mean, I don't want to use the word, you know, ungrateful, but that's what it is. You know, that's what it is. You cannot nurse a dream while being a part of someone else's dream at the expense of the original dream. You know, and I think every single follower of Asiwaju, from the southwest especially, you know, has been aware of his long, you know, life ambition of wanting to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. He dreamt, he's been working, and it is the right time for him to take it. And every single one of them whom he has helped grow choose to pick that time to contest against him. I mean, we should be actually, we should appreciate Asiwaju for what he's done or what he's doing at the moment. I can tell you that every single one of them would have done worse than Asiwaju. Oh, what, I mean, what is the cry?
Yeah, but the cry, actually, the outcry is his words, his choice of words. It's my turn. Is the presidency of Nigeria a turn by turn Nigeria limited now, as you know, one old school politician would say?
All right, now this is what it is. In the context, I mean, when you look at it from the APC perspective, we have about 23 aspirants, and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has looked at everybody in the contest and said, okay, I have supported people to grow. Name a single politician in APC that has not benefited from Asiwaju's hard work, visionary leadership, commitment, human capital development. Name one. None.
Right, from the president to the vice president to
None.
Senators, governors.
None.
And that's the more reason why there's this outcry in the APC. Shouldn't he just stay by the side and watch people? Must he always be Tinubu, Tinubu, Tinubu? And like a northern politician was speaking with, that if Tinubu is saying that he made every other person, then he should make himself president this time around.
And that's what he's doing. Yes, that's what he's doing. I mean, let's get something right. I have a problem with a leader who doesn't know what he wants or how to get what he wants. One of the reasons I love and respect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because he's a leader who knows what he wants and he goes for it and he plays by the rule. And he gives. These are the kind of leader that should inspire my generation. He is the kind of leader that inspires me and inspires my. You know, I don't want a man who comes to say I was asked to run. No. If you cannot be proud of your own dream and achieve it, how can you inspire me to achieve mine? Take your dream, it's your responsibility in your hands. If you can't do that, how are you supposed to inspire your followers? I mean, how am I supposed to follow a leader who isn't ambitious? If you don't grow, where would the room be for me to grow into?
And
if Asiwaju was contented with being just a local player, I mean, he wasn't the only governor in 99. He wasn't. After 2007, many of them went to retire in the Senate, and many of them are still there till date. He never did that. He could have. He didn't.
Do you think that Buhari has betrayed Tinubu, and that's why Tinubu is, going on this outburst, knowing fully well that the president, if indeed there was going to be a contest, wouldn't be out of Nigeria by now? He would have been here. Does his going out of Nigeria, although we hear that he's coming back today, mean that there's this grand design that's working towards a consensus, which Tinubu may have heard, and that's why he's spitting fire?
You see, I don't think the fact that we have a presidential election to run, that the president of Nigeria should stop being president of Nigeria. He shouldn't, he's still the president of Nigeria. He's on assignment as the president of Nigeria, where he's been to. We don't expect him to pause that and face the APC. We have a constituted authority, the National Working Committee, backed by the neck to run the day-to-day affairs of the party. So we shouldn't. I do not think the president has betrayed Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If anything is to go by from the statement he said, I'm sure I would think that he was referring to, if he said we should pick a candidate that is sellable, I don't see any candidate across party that is more sellable than Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We should pick a candidate that will unite the party. I can tell you there is no single person among the aspirants today that will go to any warring state and look at you and say, oh, Mr. Sumner, I know you are offended from all of this, but be calm, we need to work together. Anybody in APC knows they can take Asiwaju's word to the bank. That's how much of a leader he is. That's how much of confidence he instilled among the people.
Now, let's go back to what Tinubu said. If it's true that Tinubu actually, if not because of him, that Buhari wouldn't have become president in 2015, how about his support for Atiku, which didn't make Atiku president in 2007? The same thing he did in 2011. He supported Nuhu Ribadu and brought him out as ACN candidate, presidential candidate, and Ribadu failed woefully.
Now, the good thing about it, which is what I like to tell about, talk to a lot of people about, is we tend to forget issues, but which is why what he did yesterday was very essential, because we need to remind people of what has happened. 2007 wasn't about Atiku winning. Even Atiku himself knew it. 2007 was about resisting an attempt to cripple democracy by the then president. And if you know Asiwaju over the years, which is the reason why he's the most deserving of the slot, is the fact that he has always stood by and defend democracy. In 2007, you remember clearly that the then president, because he had issues with his vice president, set up a panel, National Assembly panel, that indicted him, and they wanted to use that indictment of the panel to stop him from being on the ballot. He even went ahead as far as declaring a public holiday on the day I think Supreme Court was supposed to sit. I remember vividly.
That was what Obasanjo did very clearly.
So what it was about time was about either letting truth be or letting falsehood shine. And Tinubu stood with Atiku to let truth shine. What he did was to uphold democracy. What he did wasn't for himself, it wasn't for AC, it wasn't for Atiku, it was for Nigeria, it was for democracy. If that had happened, that was just immediately after the whole third term attempt. We knew where all that was coming from. He was against it. Every other real Democrats were against it. But he was one person who came out, who had the resources to come out and say, this is my platform. I'm not going to watch by and say, because, it's not my fault, which is typical what we do, concern me. He didn't say that. Okay. He said, let's use this to address it, because if it affects you today, it could affect me tomorrow. Now, that's how much of a good neighbor he is, how much of a good brother he is. And that is why we are saying, then you talk about 2011. What happened in 2011 was clearly the proposed merger between the CPC and the ACN failed. At the last minute, they could not come to a compromise, and it failed. And there was an aspiring young man from the north who wanted to test his might. He wanted to test his strength, across the big, against the big guns. And he needed a platform to run. Approached Asiwaju. Who again did he approach? Asiwaju. And he said, why not? This is it. And I'm sure Nuhu Ribadu didn't regret it. And he doesn't regret it. You see today Nuhu Ribadu is with Tinubu.
Yeah, we've been seeing him
so
going around.
That shows that, I I can tell you for free that what you call failure, or what you call, I mean, they were all victories.
Okay, I'll just ask you to hold on there. Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. You're still watching the Arinze TV. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arinze TV. I'm Somna Sambo, and we're still continuing our conversation on the latest developments in the All Progressives Congress. We have just had this breaking news now that the APC has disqualified 10 presidential aspirants ahead of the party's primary schedule to hold between June 6th and 8th. And of course, we are still continuing our conversation on the statement made by Aliyu Audu Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is a presidential aspirant of the All Progressives Congress. And of course, I still have with me here Aliyu Audu, who is a member of the APC Rebirth. And then we have Arinze Igboeli joining us now. He is a spokesman of the APC in the Southeast. Welcome to the show, Arinze.
Thank you so
much. Yes, just before we come to you, let's just talk quickly about the latest development we're having now. 10 persons being disqualified. How will that change the table? I mean,
I have a problem that you are disqualifying 10 aspirants 2 days to the 3 days.
Yeah, to the national convention.
To the national convention. They're supposed to be appealed. When is it supposed to be? Saturday, Sunday? Then when is the outcome? I mean, I have always said it here that our process management is poor. We have not shown like we know what we are doing. Okay. And I expected something different with the new committee, but the fact that some members of the NWC came out to raise, just, says it all.
Okay. And Arinze, what's been your response?
Well, we'll have to know the reasons why they disqualified them. But I agree with Audu here that perhaps because, mistakes are bound to be made, and, where is the lapse or the time lapse for these people to go on appeal and make their case and all that. So let's just watch. Let's still trust the leadership of the party. They know what is best for the party. I believe they want what is best for the party. So let's just wait and see the outcome.
And what's been your own reaction to Tinubu's outburst and the future of the APC ahead of his convention?
Aliyu is the national leader of APC. He has paid his dues, and I give it to him.
You people are not treating him like a national leader.
I'm not part of the game, but
it's your party.
I give it to him. But whatever warranted the outburst, I think it's for him to say. But he has the right to say what he wants to say, as long as he has not, said what is false or wrong. As long as he has also not said what is out of place. As long as he has also not slandered or malign the character of anybody. Okay. And I think he should be allowed to say what he wants to say.
Okay, that's positive.
Yes.
Well, Audu, you were talking about Ribadu earlier on. In 2011, the same Tinubu was said to have sold out his presidential candidate, No Ribadu, and secretly entered into a pact with Goodluck Jonathan, then as president. What do you have to say about that?
2 weeks ago, some people said Jonathan was on his way back to the APC. Does it look like that today? People are free to say what they say. Can they back it up with fact? That's what the problem is. Well, that's where it is.
The PDP won
Aliyu is a man who does not go into a battle he's not sure of winning. And if he wants to go into a battle, he understands, he plans ahead, he understands what it takes, how long it takes, the resources required. And you have seen him travel around, for people who have, hinged their doubt about him or his fitness. He has proven them wrong. He has shown how fit he is. He has shown how mentally sound he is. And if people have problem that he has emotion, I don't know who they want to vote. I want to vote a human being who can be happy, upset, angry, sad. That is being human. That is I am not looking for a saint. There's none.
Well,
if you cannot be angry over something that concerns you, how will you be angry when it concerns all of us? How will you be angry enough to ensure you change it or right the wrong? So, why do we have a problem with our double standards has to stop?
Okay. Now, Arinze, do you think that Tinubu's outburst can affect his chances ahead of the national convention?
It may not. Perhaps he's sending a message to certain forces, and of course, a day they say it's a long period in politics. So definitely, maybe what he has said could make him, it could also mar him. You know, it could be that he's sending a message to certain people that, oh, look, I will not take this affront on my person. And maybe they will now sit up. It could also anger maybe these forces. It could also push these forces to the precipice. Perhaps maybe they have not even decided to rule him out of the race. And then, such an outburst. So it is left for us to see where this will lead to. Like I said, he has every right to have said what he said, because there was no falsehood in it. But at the same time, the consequences of it, that I cannot tell.
Now, do you think he was saying all of this because there are fears that the presidency may not come south, especially in the APC? Well,
definitely. Aliyu Audu is a consummate politician. He's not someone given to flippancy. He's not someone given to just coming out and saying things that he should not have said. He has been in this game since 1991, and I'm sure he knows where the ball rolls. You understand what I'm saying? So you cannot take it away from him. Perhaps he has sensed that, look, they are out for him. He has sensed that he may not get the presidency, or the presidency may not be backing him. But whatever that is, it is not for me to say. It is for us to just speculate and then allow events roll by.
Now we've seen Yemi Osinbajo just being quiet there. Is he awaiting the president's anointing oil? And that's why even when Tinubu made a statement in Ogun State, his home state, he's just been quiet.
What's it to say? If there was a lie in it, he would have responded. There's no lie, so there's nothing to say. I mean, when someone comes to you and tell you the truth, what do you say? Argue it, deny it? No, accept it. That's what we should do instead of making noise about it. Is it truth? He hasn't said anything that is not, I mean, I do not think that has anything. At this point, I think that has even raised his chances, because it means that I am following a man who knows his worth and will probably know the worth of every Nigerian and know how every Nigerian should be treated, or how they deserve and how they should be treated. If you don't know your worth, how do you value? It's like somebody who doesn't like happiness. How do you wish that on others?
Very interesting indeed. Now, gentlemen, unlike last national convention where there were fears whether it may hold or not hold, this time around, a lot of APC members just seem relaxed. It's all set for the APC national convention.
I'm not a member of the...
Yeah, but you're a member of the party.
I'm a member of the party. Yes, you're right.
Unlike before, where there were those fears whether it may or may not hold.
Will it not hold? Right now, yes, so far so good. It all looks like it will. But like I keep saying, a day is a long period in politics. A day. In the twinkle of an eye, anything could happen. But so far so good. I think everything is on course. So we are...
Okay,
and now there's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, and now what do you make of it? The National Convention Committee, Planning Committee wasn't set up on time like a lot of persons had.
Has it been set up? All I have seen,
we are just seeing subcommittees being inaugurated.
All I have seen are chairmen of subcommittees.
Yeah, and we're wondering who's the chairman of the National Convention Planning Committee? Who's the secretary?
All I know is that, remember, without the extension, which I'm not very pleased with, by the way, even as a member of the APC, I'm not pleased the INEC extended it. At this point, we need to get people to understand that there are consequences and repercussions for their action or inaction. We can't build a nation. We can't have a working nation when we can just do things the way we like. Timetable came out as early as it did. INEC should have stuck to their date and not move it. So let the APC lose the chance of presenting the candidate. Then we will probably learn a bitter lesson that we need to learn and be able to do the right thing.
Is this anger coming from the Tinubu political camp? Or?
No, it is coming from the need for us to re-engineer the APC, which many of us saw as far back as 2 years ago when we started the APC Rebirth talk. That is, if you didn't believe us then, you should believe us now. There was an extension. Now, today is what day? When are we supposed to have it? And we still don't have a committee in place?
Yeah, very quickly, we have less than 60 seconds now. What do you make of the infighting in the new National Working Committee of the APC now? We see Salihu Lukman, National Vice Chairman, Northwest, hitting Abdullah Adamu very, very hard on processes and procedures in the party.
See, the one gain I can beat my chest for after the convention, which I wasn't really pleased with the outcome or the process or how it was done, was the fact that Salihu Lukman appeared, because I have so much respect for him, because he's one upright person who knows what needs to be done and does not care whose ox is God, and he has to say it. It's not an infighting. When you're a part of a system, I don't like to fail. So if I'm a part of a system that looks like it's going to fail, the first thing I'll do is to point it out that this is going to make us fail, which is what he's doing. He doesn't want to fail. There are people who are comfortable with failures. He's not one of them, and that's why he's talking out.
Very interesting indeed. And very quickly, in 30 seconds, Arinze, what do you foresee ahead of the APC National Convention?
Well, I pray that the various forces will get it right. I pray that the various interest groups will get it right. I pray that there will be fairness, there will be a sense of honesty, sense of justice, and at the end of the day, we'll come back as one big happy family and then defeat the PDP, Labour Party, NNPP, and every other party at the elections.
It's looking tough for the APC right now. If a lot of Nigerians will tell you that, well, we thank you for your optimism. Arinze Igboeli is a spokesman of the APC in the southeast of the country, and then of course Aliyu Audu is a convener of the APC Rebirth group, always very, very fiery. And this time around, we just hope that the party will get it right so that we don't have you hitting them hard next time we'll have you here in the studio.